Hello and welcome, this is Agent XP, and today I'm going to do an author's walkthrough to my very first level, which is called Bolivia. So this level was created for something called the One Room Challenge. So it basically involves creating an entire level within a single room in the level editor. Now we're starting off by moving out this push block. As you can see, there's some fire here. And there's a tile in the corner of the room, so this doesn't do anything immediately, but if you want the final secret of the level, you have to move that push block onto the tile in the corner. Now you don't need to do that if you just want to progress in the level, but if you want the secret, then you have to position this pushable on the different floor tile, whilst avoiding the fire, which is easier said than done because, as we all know, a TRLE fire has a ridiculous hitbox, so I'm being extremely cautious here as I'm doing this. I'm waiting for the fire to complete a sequence and then I am going for it. I'm moving the push block after the fire stops, just after it stops. Here we go. And you won't get a camera hint or anything. This is partly due to the fact that it's a one-room level, so I was very restricted in what I could actually include in it. So I was very limited on objects, on triggers, and so on and so forth. So what I'm doing here is there's a jump switch to open the door, and you basically have to jump off that bit of slope. And now we're into the outside area. This is my favourite part of the level. And we're going to look up and see the bridge, which is kind of a feature of the level. Sadly, we don't get to explore it because of the nature of the rules for this competition. You could only have gameplay in the one room. The upper room is a scenery room, so technically this isn't one room, this is two rooms, but all the gameplay takes place within one room. What I'm doing here is I'm going for the first secret of the level, but it's quite hard to jump to this ladder, and I made the mistake of grabbing too soon, I think. So what you have to do is run from the very corner and finally grab the ladder right at the end of the jump. And she's a bit buggy on this ladder, so what I tend to do is use the jump up option rather than try and climb the ladder, because she just gets stuck on it if you grab it in the corner quite often. So I am jumping up the ladder and now I'm dropping down again. So that's the first secret of the level. And the next thing we are going to do is we are going to get to another jump switch to open the door to progress to the next area. And there are two ways you can reach this. The way I intended was to grab this crack above Lara, but you can also do it by traversing the ledges and doing a jump from the other side. So what I'm going to do here is backflip, grab the pole, and this can be a little tricky. You do not need to grab, and you need to be right to the right hand side. As you can see there, I failed because I haven't done this for quite a while. So I'm going to climb back up and I'm going to attempt this jump again. So we're going to grab the crack, shimmy around. Once I reach this side of the ledge, I am going to jump to the pole, but I'm going to veer in midair slightly. And when I'm on the pole, I'm also going to veer to the right a little, and that way Lara should just land on the ledge. You do not need to grab. Grabbing slows her down. There we can see the door that's opened behind the waterfall. Now there are two ways of reaching this. We can just do a running jump from here and grab that ledge that's on the left, but there is another way of getting there, and that was the way I originally intended. But this area is kind of open, so there's more than one way of doing each thing. So we're going to do the slightly more difficult way so that you can see how it's done. So we're going to do a running jump from here, no grab, and you just land on this ledge. And then we're going to do a standing jump and grab and climb up in this area. And there's also a shimmy crack above us here, so we're going to grab that and we're going to shimmy to the left. And once we reach the other side, we are going to do a back jump off the ledge while holding on to it. That's one of the new moves I've included here, so I tried to include some of the moves from Tomb Raider Legend because this level is based on Bolivia from Tomb Raider Legend. All the textures were taken from Bolivia, Lara's outfit. It's basically an attempt to recreate a mini Bolivia in one room. And as I was explaining earlier, all the gameplay takes place within one room, and the rules of the competition permitted one scenery room above. So as you can see there, I just dodged that boulder, which isn't too difficult to do. And we're going to enter into the indoor sort of temple-y type area, and we're going to need to shoot that disc on the ceiling, and that's going to give us a rope which will allow us to swing to the other side. But before we do that, we're going to find the second secret, which is hidden down in some grass in the pit. I originally wanted to fill that pit with spikes, but I didn't have enough spare objects because of the competition. And we're going to throw this jump switch, which is going to open the door to the other side of the pit, and then we're going to swing across. So yeah, it was really hard to achieve any kind of gameplay with the objects that you're limited to in one room. I tried to put most of the grass and the trees and stuff in the room above, so that in the open area it looks populated, shall we say, but I'm not using any of the object slots in the room that I need the gameplay to be in. Right here, we can grab this sort of chainy type thing. Any of you who have played Bolivia from Tomb Raider Legend might recognise this sort of concept. There was a cave with chains you had to climb. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a backflip, but we're going to aim for the middle of this double squared ledge, because the middle bit is a bit lower, so it's easier to land there. And getting the right height for that is quite tricky. And then we're going to shimmy across, and we're going to enter this room here. Now this room requires flooding. So we're going to climb up on this ledge, and we're going to do a backflip, jump, and we need to pull this switch, and for some reason that causes the room to suddenly fill with water. I'm not quite sure what my logic was here at the time. I think I just wanted to show that you could incorporate swimming in one of these one room levels. In hindsight, I think it needed a little more justification, but it's Tomb Raider logic, so we're not really going to argue with that. And this means that you can open the underwater door. So we're going to do that, and we're going to pull the underwater lever, which is going to cause the room to drain again, and we will now be able to progress to the next part of the level. Drop out safely, and we're going to need to climb back up the ladder, and that little thingy in the floor is apparently where all the water went. So climb the ladder. So the gameplay in this level is not particularly complicated. I couldn't do a lot with one room, and because this is the first level I ever released, you can kind of think of this as my playable tutorial level in a sense. Oh, bit of lag there. Right, we're going to light a flare. I really like the flares I used in this. I was trying to copy the Legend style flares here. Right, so what we're going to need to do here is we are going to need to climb down here. Or not, or just fall. That works too. We didn't lose too much health. But there is a ladder there, for those of you who are a little more cautious than I just was. Climb the ladder, and we can hear some traps ahead. Ooh, this looks spooky. I obviously was inspired by the corridors in the Bolivia level of Tomb Raider Legend for this. And I think I've managed to recreate the feel of this quite well, given my lack of objects available, and I couldn't use that many light bulbs either in this level. Cobwebs on the ceiling, that is because that's part of the upper room, not the lower room. So I was able to use a few objects on the ceiling there. And now we enter the final area. So we're having a look around. Instantly you can see there's a tile in the middle of the room that's different. That's where we need to put the box for things to happen. That is going to cause a raising block to come up from the floor. Looks as if that poor dude in that crate had a bad day. Once again, they use similar crates in Tomb Raider Legend, so it's in keeping with the whole theme. And there we go. Put the block there, and the block next to us raises. Now, we are going to get the final secret of the level. You might notice there's a little alcove on the wall there. That would not be open had we not placed that push block on that tile at the beginning of the level. We would not be able to get this, it wouldn't be open. So now that we've done that, we need to raise up the other block in the corner over there. So now we are going to climb to the ledge that's in front of us, and you may have noticed that pole which extends across the width of the room. Now we can do something on this, and for those of you that have played Tomb Raider 5, you might remember that Lara can scale tight ropes, and she can also do this in custom levels. And it's a very slow process to get across here, so you basically have to bear with me for this, or should I say bear with Lara. So every time she leans in one direction, you have to correct by pressing the other direction. And it's fairly slow, but we make it across here. Ooh, come on, Lara. You can do this. It's not a very long tightrope, I wouldn't do that. It would be too tedious to have one that's very long. But it's kind of fun because you can do more than one thing on this tightrope, as you will see in a second. So we pull the lever, and the other block raises from the floor. Drop down. We'll take a little bit of fall damage, but not too much. And since there's no combat in this level, your health bar shouldn't be too bad anyway. So we're then going to move this push block so that it's near enough for us to be able to jump to that raising block. Now we don't need to push this block all the way up to that raising block. We should just be able to run and jump to it from about there. Let's try this. Get Lara in position, and yes, we made it from there. That's cool. So we're going to jump up and shimmy around the corner and pull ourselves up. And we're now going to discover the other thing that we can do on this tightrope pole. I'm going to move Lara to the middle of the side so that we can reach that ledge in the middle there. And we discover it's a swing pole. Grab this ledge and pull up, and we have reached the final artifact. And that's it for the level. It's a very short level, but it is a one-room challenge, and that's kind of the nature of the competition, is to make as much gameplay as you can within a very confined space. So I think I succeeded in making it feel bigger than just one room, and especially with the big outside area. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I do plan to do some more authors commentary videos on my other levels as well. So if you enjoyed, please do leave a like on the video and consider subscribing, and if you do subscribe, please do click on the little bell on YouTube to make sure that you get notified if I upload a new video. And that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. TTFN.